Until Tupac keep his guards up, we ride with him. One thing I like to say, anyone out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, don't have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the video, all on the record, dancing. Come on down, Paul.
The Source Awards. There you have it. There you have it. We're 2019. Big time awards back there. There it is. It's only fitting we start 2019 with Suge Knight. Because just from. So you never saw what happened with the BCS?
No, I was working.
Okay, good. That's responsible. So the BCS Clemson came out. Long story short, they did the Suge Knight, not the word for word, but in Step to Death Valley, right?
Yes.
Such a random reference in 2019 that people are not even going to get that in our, my demographic probably not going to remember that.
Do you see some kind of correlation or relevance to
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't see anything. I don't know how this guy knows about this or how he found out about it, but it's viral apparently. Suge Knight, everyone. He used to be the owner of Death Row Records.
Who would have thought in 2019 Suge Knight would be talking about
It was amazing. He's in jail laughing right now, or talking to his boyfriend, whatever he's doing. Why did I say that? He's gonna tell me now. Good thing I can edit. So that sums up what has just happened last night. We'll get to that in a little bit, but
speaking of people in jail, surviving R. Kelly, is he gonna hopefully be in jail soon?
Wow, we're starting just like that.
Yeah, it started it right off. Did you watch the?
Yes, that's out of control. Out of control, yes. Anyone who's hasn't been keeping up with Surviving R. Kelly, riveting programming, the best show like Lifetime's ever had.
Really?
I mean, usually it's like,
Do this, but
false movies. Exactly. What is Lifetime really? It's about, domestic abuse, more domestic abuse, and then just, find some other kind of divas actor,
Are we surprised?
No,
No.
not at all.
Okay. Yeah.
He married Aaliyah. Aaliyah was 15, and this was like in '93, so we all saw what was going on. It's just, a lot has come out. They showed the video, they showed clips of the sex tape.
Did they?
How does Lifetime get away with it? It's amazing, it's blurred out, but it's like, what are they doing? And I don't know if anyone's out there has caught this great show. It's a three-parter.
Did anybody watch?
I think it's a 4 or 5-part.
Oh, is it?
Anybody have the
6-part.
the notion? 6-parter.
Oh my
Gosh.
gosh.
Well, enjoy. But just out of control. R. Kelly's a madman.
Let me know.
Not really.
No, I didn't watch it.
Somebody's telling me
Do you like a lot of lyrics?
Tell your body no.
Kind of like
Well,
certain things click now that all of this has come to light. Is it like, oh my god, we were listening to these songs?
from the second album, it started because it was public announcement. Then he went to like very raunchy R&B style lyrics, and back then nobody really caught on, of course. And then here comes Aaliyah. They never reveal how old Aaliyah is. She doesn't reveal how old she is. Things come out, and then his career kind of kept going, and it kind of died out a little bit. The whole underage girl thing,
Yeah.
and then
the peeing on people.
people came up. Yes, yes. Thank you, David.
You would think that would be more of a red flag, but no, it kind of. I mean, it was a thing for a little bit, and then kind of just let him go for it.
How's he not in jail?
That's what I'm saying.
How is he not in jail?
Bottom line, though, what do you think this what impact do you think this has on his music? People are still gonna listen to it, or are we canceling him? Do we still have cancel?
His streams are up.
That's what I heard.
Yeah,
They're
that's
up.
what I heard.
That's
The
It's
streams are
right.
up.
stream and streaming.
Yeah.
All streams up.
Okay, that's a good question. Are you still playing "Step in the Name of Love" at your wedding? Say you meet that special fella. Would you play "Step in the Name of Love"?
It's such a classic, like.
See?
But does that mean that I'm supporting him?
Yeah.
And what he does? Really, it does. So you're never
I ain't
playing.
playing that again.
No, you're never playing any R. Kelly ever.
I'm gonna say this for the record right now. As I do my disc jockeying sets, I'm not gonna play R. Kelly again.
Was he ever really
It's
like
too
part
weird.
of your?
Oh yeah, I play "Step in the Name of Love." Oh, I played that. There'd be the song with Biggie,
Oh yeah, that's
the
right.
"Be Happy" remix, obscure. And
So
there's
no more for you.
I don't know. I mean, I always play Guilty Proven Innocent, Jay-Z. He's got a lot of good songs.
But
A lot
I
of
mean, you
that.
said that this is not a surprise, so why? Because it's like even more out there?
Well, right now he needs to go to jail right now.
Okay.
That's kind of where it's at right now. There's no, just take him straight to jail. There's no reason for any court or any type of plead the fifth or any of that stuff. It's bad. Are we getting Step in the Name of Love right now? We're getting that again? His mind ain't saying that right now.
Is that going to be our
He's
sound of
saying
the
no, he's
night?
not going to
Might as
jail.
well. I plead the fifth. No, that was Chappelle. That's from something else. But it's not a good look, and I don't know where it's gonna go from there. And why isn't there an investigation? What's gonna happen with this
I
six-part
think
thing?
from what I saw today, like they're starting to open up an investigation, but it's like
Damn
this
right
thing
they
has
are.
been going on for like days and for how long, and they're just now going to start an investigation. It's the
Well,
world we live in.
all these girls getting kidnapped, and you understand the whole girls getting kidnapped, the underage thing. I mean, you being in the younger demographic, how he's doing this. I mean, because these are all fangirls, right? And
Well, yeah.
he's totally manipulating them. Okay, you get the whole gist of what's going on. He's brainwashing them. He's a celebrity.
Yeah.
They don't know any better. They never dated a guy. But I'm not saying you. I'm just saying,
We're all in sex jail.
sex jail. Wow.
That's his new
Oh,
album.
yeah. It's like a 70s porn, right? This. Okay. Well, moving on from R. Kelly. We gotta get off. We're not starting 2019 with R. Kelly. What's next here?
How's things been going without me? I got back on
Oh, yeah.
Sunday night.
Well, it's been quite all right.
Well,
We had a gentleman named Kevin DeCalis be the guest host.
heard of him.
There you go.
We had Angry Robots, we had Woes. He was signing things for everyone. Everyone's getting autographs, man. You missed out. I don't know. Could have got the Sharpie Panda on your
Did you get
black
any
and tan.
merchandise for me?
Merchandise?
Merchandise or autographs?
Merch.
Oh, sorry, I got So the kid said, I got time. I gotta take care of the show.
Thanks
I
for
gotta take care of
thinking
this
of
lights
me.
we got going on here. I gotta put Kalapana there. But let's just acknowledge this for a second. Okay, this is something that we need to acknowledge as 2018 ended. Okay, so you're familiar with Kalapana, right? Oh. Let's put that down.
Even the black guy knows how.
When the black guy knows, okay, let me tell you. You see,
To be fair, is
let's
this
pull this
something?
record.
To be fair, is this something that someone my age would know?
Okay, in honesty, okay,
Who wasn't born here?
it's that's an honest thing to say, but it's something that, because it's so historical,
Oh, okay.
and much like you're a student, much like you have a job, and you're a responsible person, you research things, and this is where it's at. This is the first album.
Oh,
Okay, and then the person who passed away, so we're teaching people live on this thing. So is this gentleman, do we have Kalapana played up? No, you're just, there we go. You're staring at
Oh, I know
me scared. You know this song?
Yes.
Got it, okay. There you go, you have this guy right here. Rest in peace, Melania, the lead singer. They performed after he passed away.
Oh.
And that must have been just a total emotional, incredible thing. Yes. Hawaiian music, they don't make this kind of Hawaiian music anymore. It's all about, I'm in love with a one-night stand, and I want to be your man. And it's the only song I know, so if there's anything else you want to throw out there, that's really all I got. Or the Drop Baby Drop. That's kind of like old. No,
Honey baby?
no. I don't even know what that is.
Oh.
See? I don't even know. Or something from, I don't know, Fiji, or I don't know, what you can go down the line. But this is it. This is good Hawaiian music. So we have to acknowledge that. Yes.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, yes. What else happened to you as you were gone? Because you went away for like 2 weeks, right?
I was ggone for about 3.5 weeks.
3.5
I'm
weeks.
glad it felt shorter to you though.
Yes. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
A great thing happened to me on the way there.
You met a boy.
You know what? This is like actually the first time that would actually apply.
Really?
Yeah. And this is like great serendipity because I missed my original flight. Mom sent me with like Filipino, that's why she sent me with like 3 Balikbayan boxes. And so if I wouldn't have had those boxes, I would have been on time. But because I had them, it was too late for me to check in for a flight. So they had to reschedule me for a flight like an hour later. So I wasn't supposed to be on this flight. But on said flight, I met a guy. Yes.
Woo!
You know, like every time I go on the plane, I'm like, come on.
No people dating, huh?
Please, can I sit next to someone cute, please? It's always some
Never
old
happens to me.
person
Right.
or someone that likes to
baby.
spill into my seat. You know, it's just, but no, this was But so it was a red eye. So then we were like, okay, like both gotta get some sleep. So we went to sleep and then we wake up and so we had a connecting flight.
Oh.
And so we like did the whole thing. We came off the plane together and we were like helping each other find each other's gate. And then like he asked for my number, and then because we had this great conversation about how it's weird that when you first meet people nowadays, like you ask for their social media. And I was just saying, like, I meet guys and they ask for my Snapchat and, things don't really go anywhere.
Oh, there you go,
and then you
right.
have, like, a bunch
DMs,
of, like,
right.
random people that are, like, have this big insight to your life. So
Send
it's, like,
the
kind
pics.
of weird. But anyway, so he asked for my number. He's like, social media, like, what's your number? I was like, God, this is great. Like, this
How old is
awesome.
this gentleman?
He's my age.
Wow.
Yes,
Really?
yes, surprisingly.
So then did you guys know beforehand that you had connecting flights, or was this a surprise? Like you're saying, oh, I'm about to go now. Oh, really? So you did the thing like, I'm about to go now, I have a connecting
Yeah, I
flight?
was like,
Oh, I have a
but
connecting
there's
flight too!
It wasn't that cheesy, but I was like, I'm like this way.
Okay.
And he's like, so, but the thing is, like, I don't know if it was because my signal is bad, so like I put my number in and I'm like 95% sure I put the right number in. Like, I keep thinking about it now, and I try to call my phone from his.
And in a twist, your phone don't work right now.
It doesn't,
I've been
so I don't have
texting you
his
69
number.
times and nothing has happened, so your phone is down. So this gentleman caller is not calling.
No, so.
I don't know what's up with your phone.
He said that we should hang out because he was going to be where he was going to be until like Christmas time, and I told him I wasn't going to be back on island
Right.
till now.
Right.
And so he's like, we should hang out. I was like, cool. But then the thing is, he's never hit me back up yet, and I don't have his number,
Okay.
but I know where he works. I know that sounds really Okay, anyone, Aaron, I don't have connections like this with people. So it's like, do I do it like casually? Be like, hey, there's someone? No.
For everyone
just
that
like,
may not know, you are correct, yes. You're an old soul, as I say.
yes.
This does not happen. I don't know what you're going to do with this. Are you going to go visit him at his work? Where does he work
Is
at?
that weird?
Where does he work at?
But I-
City or where is he at?
No, he actually works at
We're gonna out
close
him
by.
Really? It's Club Sundance across the street. He's the manager.
No, UFC actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so is he works at you, is he a trainer?
He's in your field of work.
Oh my God. Forget it.
But he's
Really?
going, no, yeah.
God, that's enough.
So
Okay,
it's a big
so-
question mark right now, but I guess we'll see how it goes.
And so you talked to this guy for 2 hours, you're saying?
Straight, 2 hours straight.
And then what are the topics? What is he into? What's his interest?
We talked about like everything, like life goals, books, sports, where we came from. It's like any and everything for just 2
Wow,
hours
this
straight.
is
It was
wonderful.
beautiful.
Wow, oh goodness. Well, you can
Surprisingly, people know how to conversate nowadays.
go figure and
Yeah.
in your demographic. Okay, so we'll see how this goes on because Valentine's Day is coming up, everyone.
It is.
And the Valentine's special is coming soon, and we have you may have to be the experiment on this one.
Oh no.
Well, okay, so anyone what we're gonna do on Valentine's Day show, and this is the 3rd annual Valentine's, we're gonna have a live Tinder date on here. We're gonna get a special gal to swipe right or left or whatever you do, and then meet a gentleman, conversate with this gentleman, and then bring him here without him knowing. And then we're gonna just see what happens.
Is that legal?
Probably not, but we're gonna try it. And who knows, right? So yeah, that's coming up. Hopefully things will be going well where you don't have to do this. We'll find some other broad. Yeah, so. No, you're a woman.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's how you be charming. Okay, so what else you got? What's the next topics?
Oh, so I just real quick, I went to this festival called Rolling Loud, and I was present. I don't know if any of you guys saw when Offset interrupted Cardi B's show to try to apologize to her. Like, I was live in
Oh, yeah.
witnessing this, and he comes
Oh,
out
yes.
interrupting her show. So
And he's live.
Yeah,
Yeah,
live.
explain to the people that don't know about that one. That was a big one.
Yeah, so Cardi B and Offset of Migos have
Yes.
been off and on. They have a child together. He's a known cheater. It's already been out. But yeah, he's trying to apologize and win her back, I guess. So he comes out in the middle of her set with like, I think flowers and whatnot. I was a little bit far away, so I couldn't see exactly, but
Yeah.
he interrupts her set. And from the sounds of it, it sounds like the organizers of the event like knew what was going on, which I don't know if that's
Oh, they were in on this.
Yeah, if that's really professional or not, but
Okay.
she ended up saying like someone like fired after this, like she kind of mumbled it under her breath, so I don't know how well that went, but that was interesting to see
It's a big
live.
viral moment, okay.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, you know, Cardi B just happened to
was
be
here, right?
on the island.
Yeah, I think she was there. So I was there, I think like the 15th of December, and then she was here on island, right, with Snoop Dogg and Sublime.
You know, as I barely swear on the show, but the shit show of the year.
I was like, how did that go? Was there a big turnout?
Snoop Dogg, they were all there. Everybody fighting, all the women fighting. Everybody's passed out, drunk. I would say it looked like the whole flat was covered. The back was full. I'm gonna say maybe about 22,000.
Is that good? Did it look full?
It was more crowded than Guns N' Roses and Eagles.
Oh,
It was
okay.
more than that, yeah. So I
That's
say.
surprising.
Well, I mean, as you know, it's great marketing because you know whoever put this together, right? We get Sublime, so we draw the
Are you gonna do the voice?
hippies, right? Well, you see, bro. I mean, you see what's going to get this party, right? You just have Sublime, and you just get, you get all the, all the hippies, right? Those come in and just listen to rock, and then you get all the girls, all the bitches, they're like Cardi B, right? Those twerk and the fight, and then we get all the old people that can smoke weed and go to see Snoop, right? So everybody's smoking weed in here. You got the Hollies, you got all the West Side, East Side, Central Side, they're all coming in, they're all fighting. UFC's there probably, maybe your boy's there, I don't know. But then they're all going to be there, and it was the shit show of the year. The video, I'm sure everyone saw on. Everywhere, everybody's posting IG Live of this. So fights everywhere. It's all girls fighting.
Wow.
Majority, I'm sure there were guys fighting, but there was all girls fighting. Just telling why, and then doing all that kind of stuff. Fuck, and then rarely explanation. But then that's what was happening. It was a mess. So our special guest, I'm going to ask him a question regarding this that might be a thing for the future in regard to the UFC. Coming to the island, will this kind of thing affect it or not? That's kind of something I wanted to discuss later because it was pretty bad. And there's been a string of these Aloha Stadium events, which has never happened in years.
Yeah.
Eminem's coming too. Like, what's the reasoning for all these?
Yeah, Bruno first, and then now.
Is this some kind of a plan to kind of build Aloha Stadium up to be this thing? To what is the plan here? Because this has never happened. There's some Bruno Mars is something else because he's from here. He did it because he's from here, but all the Eagles, Guns N' Roses. I mean, Cardi B and this sub, don't give a damn. I mean, so what is the reasoning? So that's what else happened before 2019 left. I basically did nothing for the end of the year, so you got to roll this out because I take off.
That's it?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Christmas, do nothing. New Year's, nothing. Stay home. I'm tired. Okay?
Your age is showing right now.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm 40, damn it. So I'm just saying, because New Year's Eve into New Year's morning, most overrated of the year.
Oh, I
most
agree.
overrated of the
I
year.
agree.
You got amateurs running around drinking, you got people, throwing up, fighting, twerking, whatever they're doing. And I don't want to deal with that. I just want to stay home and just be done with it. Why do you want to wake up? God, I saw it already. That's just how I feel. I don't know if, what did you do?
I was with family for both holidays.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Because you were still mainland.
Yes, I was still in California for both of them.
Right.
Christmas, my mom's side does Christmas Eve on their side, and dad's side does Christmas Day, so that's kind of it. It was pretty mellow, and then I went between Christmas and New Year's, I went to Texas. Yeah.
Wait a minute, I did not know this.
Yeah, it was like a quick thing between.
I have a hard time following the Snapchat. Okay, so where did you go in Texas?
I went to Austin first. I flew in there and I visited my best friend who lives out there.
Yeah.
She took me to this place. I don't know if any of you guys have been. It's called 6th Street. It's like, I guess, like the equivalent of their like Waikiki plus Chinatown put together. So like it's their scene, basically their bar scene. But I was only there during the daytime. But it was pretty cool. I think you'd actually like it there. There's a bunch of different bars and.
Boston's, yeah, it's an eclectic.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
So she took me there, and then she drove me down to San Antonio where my brother and his family live, and then spent 2 days there, and then flew back before New Year's to California. And spent time with family there.
Wow, San Antonio as well.
Yeah.
Is it true what they say about San Antonio?
What do
What Charles Barkley said about that all women are ugly in San Antonio? Is that true?
Why do people say that? Because
Charles Barkley did. I don't know.
well, somebody else asked me today. I was one of the trainers because I told him I went to San Antonio. He's like, "Is it true that like people are over there like in San Antonio are like fat and ugly?" I was like, San Antonio is really getting a bad rap here. I was like, I don't really judge people like that.
Charles Barkley said it. So maybe that's why people believe him. You know, yeah, that's probably the only thing. You know, speaking of San Antonio, there's this place called the Alamo. You know about the Alamo?
I've heard of this place.
You know if the Alamo has a basement?
Is this like a joke?
It does not.
Oh. It's just like, it's like.
It's from the movie Pee-wee's Big Adventure. You have to go against like the gypsy fortune teller told him to go to the Alamo because it had a basement and his bike was there. Sorry, we just mentioned San Antonio. Sorry. Well, after San Antonio, where did you go?
Back to California.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then just lived your best life after that.
always.
Okay. Yeah, it's time for the awards. I'm tired of getting the mail. Let's go with what's happening now. Let's talk about what's going on in this island. The best ofs. Did you have a best of
I feel
winners
like-
here?
So you sent me this list to do.
We're gonna knock this
and
out quick.
I feel like you're gonna be upset with me, but I feel like I should just remind you that I'm not really from here. Like I know I live here,
Oh,
but
who really is from here?
I'm not really from here.
That's fine.
So I
That's
feel
fine.
like
Start with the
I
first
feel
one.
like I should just ask you, and then if I have a place in mind, then I will chime in.
Alright. Do you eat plate lunch?
So what is when you when you say that, does like a Korean fried chicken?
You're half Filipino, Jimmy. Come on. You know someone that knows someone that's gonna be really pissed off right now that you say you don't know what plate lunch is. Come on. What you know you've gone to Helena's.
Yes, is that considered plate lunch?
No.
Okay, so
But-
now I can tell.
When you're going to eat lunch, where do you go? What do you do? Like, you're Snapchat, you hang out with all the Filipino girls. Where are you girls all going?
When you
They
say
eat.
one, Helena's is.
You're not going to Helena's 5 days a week. Where else are you
Okay,
going?
Unagis.
And Nagis, alright. Yes. For lunch? What are you talking
Oh
about?
no, okay, no, that's late night.
Okay.
Grab poke from wherever, whether it's
Okay.
fresh catch or Filipino, you get.
Nagatumuras.
Yeah,
Kimoku seafood.
yeah. So-
You going to Kimoku seafood?
I haven't personally been, but you brought me some from.
Actually, yeah, I actually got you.
Yeah.
Okay. So play lunch, okay, so like, anything Khalid, alright? School Street, Khalid, that's the only place we got play lunch. There's no other place to go. It's
I asked
Khalid.
Rachel about this and she said she said Khalid plate lunch or whatever.
That's right, she
Yeah,
lives in
that's-
Khalid.
Okay, yeah, so she got
Exactly.
me one of those and it was good, but it's like.
Alright, long story short.
What about you? Okay, what's your favorite plate lunch?
This has been debatable through the years. Kevin and I have gone back and forth with this back and forth. We had a big vote.
Mhm.
We had Kevin's kids decide for us. It was between Richie's or Bob's Barbecue. That was the two main ones. Richie's is the only plate lunch with a drive-thru,
Oh,
which is fantastic. You just drive in there.
where is this
And-
at?
This is North Nimitz. This is North
Oh, it's
Or
King
King.
Street.
King. King Street, yeah, King Street. Drive-thru. Just go in there, yeah. Boneless chicken, better than Rainbow.
We have
Some
the
objection from the
one.
crowd.
We got the one defending Rainbow driving.
Forget it. You go in there, you get the boneless chicken, all the aunties are there, all
So boneless chicken is what I would go there for.
yes.
Okay.
But then you gotta tell them to put the gravy on it too for some reason.
Gravy over.
Because the menu doesn't say gravy on it, so you gotta go like, and then it's a really bad intercom, right? So you just gotta go in. You always gotta, they know why you're there, but you always have to be like, can I make an order? You always gotta do that voice.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta do that. Even though they know you're there to make an
Make an
order,
order.
you have to think, is it okay if I order? But they go, yeah, sure,
But
shut
ask
up.
permission first.
You gotta do that.
Okay.
Even when you're on the phone, when they answer the phone, you want, can I make a takeout order? No, why are you calling? That's what you gotta do. So you just do that, you tell them you wanna make takeout order, boneless chicken, put the gravy on it.
With the gravy on it.
Yes. And then they're gonna say, what? And then you gotta repeat it again, because they're not gonna be here. So you get that, Richie's, and then you go Bob's Barbecue right after, you get the barbecue chicken. That's it.
Okay.
You get the hibachi chicken, sorry.
Hibachi chicken.
Clarification, yeah. And then those are the top two there. What else we got? Gracie's in,
Okay.
right? Chicken katsu. Sean Hyman, where you at?
There's only one left. There's only one.
There's only
Grayson
one left.
There
They
was
used-
multiple.
Had one,
White Pahu.
was like,
And Aiel.
Market
Yes.
City.
And Market City.
Yes.
And now we get the last one, the
Rest
last
in peace.
out of the
That's
weekend.
it. Best bathroom you ever gonna go in. People come in, people don't get out. So just go, Gracie's in,
And one for Grayson's bathroom.
Gracie's back. Very risky play. So our winner this year, last year's winner was, it was Kimoku Seafood. But I have to go back to, when you have that crave, you gotta go boneless chicken, Richie's.
Okay.
That's my pick, play lunch of the year.
Noted.
You better go over there, hurry up.
I will.
Okay, what else you got?
Restaurant, favorite restaurant. Said plate lunch restaurant, different restaurant. Yours.
I gotta go again with the place I just recently posted on the Instagram, as the kids call it, Senya. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Rice. How about it? Wow. With rice, now with rice. So,
Now with rice.
as you know, we got Chris Kajoka on as guest, and that's what we were telling him. Why don't you get rice and put it with the short rib?
He said it was always a possibility, but people just never asked for
Exactly, so we pulled the trigger on this Monday night. That's what we did. Senya, he was there. I told Mr. and we mentioned his name as well, Mr. Nick Hammond, who's currently in love, yes. He was there. I told Nick, how about we pull the trigger, let's get the rice. And he told Kajoka.
And rice was brought for you.
Well, he was going to get rice from Pig and Lady, but Pig and Lady was closed, so they were going to go to a little village.
Go down the line.
To run down and get the rice from there, but they said, screw it, and he made the rice there.
Wow, just for
He
you.
made I don't want to, you know, toot my horn, but yes, he made the truffle rice live, and he brought the thing over, and it worked. It worked.
Wow.
Yeah.
You still owe me a dinner.
We're gonna go there, yes, I'll take you there, yes. That's still, yeah, that's 5 Mike restaurant. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with that
Well,
one.
I look forward to it then.
Yes, what did you have a restaurant here?
Not really.
Okay, what we got? What else
Well,
we got?
you know my life, it's just work and school, so I'm not like you, I'm not fancy, and I don't get to enjoy these
I just
beautiful
want to eat.
places with food. I
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm
do I,
saying.
but it's just,
All
I
right.
think the best I got was like when we would do the hip hop dinners. Those are fancy, and those are cool for me.
Yes, we had the hip hop dinner, Pig and the Lady, and stuff like
Yes.
that, right? Right, those are good
I
times.
think that's the most exposure I get to.
Okay, well you may not eat, but you're young, so you drink, right? So where's your top bar? Where do you like to go? Bar of the year. You have a pick for this.
Yes, I do, but I don't want to offend. And the main
swore.
reason.
Nocturnal.
Oh God, no. Just for clarification, because you can't see sarcasm. I really don't drink all that much, so I don't really know the bar scene too much. Wherever people take me is where I go. So, I really like Pine and Sugar for their mixed emotion drink. I can drink
Oh, well,
so many of those.
wow, really?
Yes.
Yes, that is the drink they got there, mixed emotions,
Yes.
much like all of us here. Yes, that is a great drink, and I can't fault you on that. I got married there, for God's sake. My reception, not my sermon. But yes, we've been there since day one. I totally agree with you on that.
Okay, so what
Good
about
choice.
Thank you.
Yes. So for bar, see, Pine Sugar would be up there, but you know, I don't want to be biased or anything, or just say anything that's biased. But I'm gonna have to pick someplace called the Highbrow Room. I want to fairly, look at each bar and just say which one really, truly has my heart, and I just have to say the Highbrow Room has got it. It's quaint, it's intimate. You have great drinks from this man. They call him the Lord for us. The Lord Flores is here. Best place to hang out? I don't know. Okay, enough ass kissing. Okay, next one.
Page your rent.
What else we got?
Best album.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's go with that. So what is your best? When do you have some? You gave me 10 here.
I gave you 10 and some honorable mentions. It was,
Okay.
as we've already talked about, there's been a lot of music that's been dropped this year, kind of a lot more
Yeah.
than normal.
Right.
So
So what do we got? Why don't you give us the top 5?
I feel like I'll give you all of them real fast, but
Okay.
I don't want to look in Sky's direction because I don't want to see any disproving looks. So I'm just read right through. I'm
Good.
kidding. I have a feeling he'll agree with some of these. And this is in no particular order.
There we go. Let's go. All right.
Here we go.
Okay, Swimming by Mac Miller, Streams of Thought, Volume 1 by Black Thought,
There we
Pieces
go.
of a Man by Mick Jenkins, Care for Me by Saba, Noir, by Smino, KOD by J. Cole, DiCaprio 2 by J.I.D., Room 25 by No Name, Whack World by Tara Whack. The next one that I'm about to mention, I did not like it very much at first, but I feel like it has grown on me, and it has actually been pretty significant for 2018. Astroworld by Travis Scott.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Houston Zone. Yeah.
There you go. And then honorable mentions to Victory Lap by Nipsey Hussle, Redemption by J-Rock, and
Okay.
yeah.
So you can't pick one album out of that to represent 2018. What do you think? that set it off?
I know for personally me, my album, but I don't know for all of you.
Personal.
Personally-
What was your personal pick here?
Personally, Swing by Mac Miller.
Rest in peace.
Yes,
Rest in
and that's not because
Rest in peace.
he passed away. It was, if you look, I know you have on here my favorite artist of the year. My favorite artist of the year is Mac Miller. If you look
Right, that's right.
if you talk about growth and an artist, if you look from where he started with kids and even before that, when he was Easy Mac.
Yeah.
He hates that. Just to see the evolution to his, unfortunately, his final album is just amazing, especially for me. I kind of grew up listening to him, so he was one of the, we talked about this earlier, he was one of the celebrities whose death I actually felt because I feel like we grew with him and his music. And if you listen to all of his projects, and he does have a lot of them and a lot of, also a lot of personas that he's had. You know, Larry Fisherman is his producer and a lot of that other stuff. It's just a lot of growth and too much of that from artists, like they kind of do kind of the same thing and maybe branch off a little bit, but the growth that he's shown over the past 10+ years, and he was
You
only
did a lot of
25.
songs,
Yeah.
like the singing songs. You did a lot of singing,
Yeah.
which was, were you a fan of that phase?
Actually, yes. I was at first.
It was okay.
It was different, and I think that's what I appreciate about his music. I think if he would have lived longer, he would have broken down barriers for what the traditional sound of hip hop was, and he would do it in a very respectful way because he does know his hip hop history and all that stuff. And he definitely pays homage to all of that, and I feel like that's lacking in a lot of new artists now. That respect for past artists.
I listened to him over MGK. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, so that's mine.
Okay, very good. Well, right off the bat, I gotta say the Black Thought album is the album of the year. That's all I'm gonna say. The Black Thought, the Solomon. Same clapping for when we said rest in peace, Mac Miller. I love that so. But it's gotta be the album of the year. I mean, I don't know how else.
Hip hop album of the year.
Once again, if you were to, because it's so convoluted what hip hop is now.
Yeah.
No one really seems to know what hip hop is in 2018. You have all these different kind of genres of things that are broken off. If you were to ask somebody and say, if someone were to ask you, and be like, what is hip hop to someone? You play them this album.
Yeah.
And this is it.
I agree.
It's this clear cut. And every song is, it's pretty much, I gave it a 5 mic album. I'm still going to hold on to it. It's a 5 mic album.
I would too. I agree.
He's evolved. He's gotten more, the wordplay has gotten more intelligent. It's just evolved into something just monstrous over from what he started with at the Roots. And he's still with the Roots. And they're on Jimmy Fallon, for God's sakes. You think they'd sell out or not put out any albums? Here he goes, putting out some best thing of the year. So I gotta go with that one. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that come out. Royce, Pusha T album, J-Rock album, Master Ace, Marco Polo, Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
Even the OC album. Although Futz didn't remember OC. He had a new album. That was good. Bun B had a good album.
Oh.
So I gotta shout out the local kids. Kids Need Food. That have been performing, they perform the Cabot Store. I think they're gonna make their move and be like one of the first Hawaii people to make it and go national. I think it's gonna be Kids Need Food. That'll be the next thing. What else we got on this thing? Is that about it? What time we got here? 33? Yeah, I think next time we go and take a break here because we got.
Wait, one more question.
We got something else?
Yeah, just from me to you. It is the new year. I don't know. I feel like I kind of really asked, but I just ask it live here. Any New Year's resolutions for you?
Oh, come on.
I have to ask. It's the new year.
Bottom line, if you want to do something, you do it now. You do it. You don't have to wait till January 1st, December 31st, none of that stuff. You just go and you take care of it. You got something you got to take care of, do it. That's all it is. You can look at this show, for example, you know. Cabot had to run into some stuff where he had to leave the show. I'm not going to hold off and like figure out what we need to do. We need to go and move quickly, continue to progress on. That's what everyone should do. Don't have to wait till January 1st.
Message to everybody. Anything that we're leaving in 2018? We leaving anything 2018?
2018. Infinity War was a good movie.
That's a big takeaway.
After that, Deadpool 2 was okay. Solo, you guys forgot about that one, didn't you?
Nope.
Yeah. I'm just naming movies. That's pretty much what else happened in 2018. Chris Paul screwed up again. Shohei Ohtani got us all excited for like a minute, and then. So yeah, we can leave 2018 behind. Let's get out of here. Let's take a break because we got something special to conclude with our best of 2018 review. We've got KHON Sports Director coming on for the second time. Mr. Rob DeMello is going to be joining us. So let's take a break. To the whole delay. I really am. All right, Sleep Time is Over is back. We got 2018. Yeah, is the review continues, and our next guest. It's actually been almost a year since this gentleman has been on the show, and it's always good times. And it's only fitting when I talk sports with KHON Sport Director, Mr. Rob DeMello. Why Golden Girls?
I have no idea.
That's your favorite one?
Yeah, I think it's because my favorite person in the world growing up was my grandmother.
Yes.
And I just saw all these old people on television that looked just like my grandma and talked like my grandma, and she loved cheesecake too.
We all
so,
yeah.
But the funny thing is watching Golden Girls then, I loved it, I cracked up, right? I thought it was the greatest thing ever. I watch it now as an adult and I say, there is no chance I understood anything in that show. That is raunchy.
It's very
bad.
But we all bought in though. I think it was from exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
We all watched this as kids. We had no idea why.
We all love their grandmas.
Yeah.
We love cheesecake.
Yeah.
They're in Boca Raton, Florida, right? A lot like Hawaii.
Right.
We just related to it.
Right.
You know?
And Betty White was old in that show, and she's still alive.
Still kicking.
All right for Betty White.
Still kicking.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Well, how you been, man? What's been going on? 2018.
Good, bro. Hey, so the last time I came on the show, the first thing I said was, "You have the greatest name of all time," right?
Yes.
Zach Morris, right?
I thank you. Yes.
So I got to tell you that I went to LA in December.
Yes, you did.
And I went to the Saved by the Bell pop-up restaurant in
You
Santa Monica, and everybody needs to check this place out.
So this was in Chicago before, and then it moved. Does it move around?
I don't know.
How did you come across this thing?
A friend of mine I saw on Instagram, and it was just a picture of her in Mr. Belding's office, and I was like, "How the hell is she in Mr. Belding's office? Like, what is this?" So I hit her up and I said, "Where's that from?" And she said, "Oh, there's this pop-up restaurant in LA. You got to check it out." And so, just so happened, my wife and I were going to Vegas, and we legitimately made a stop in LA just for this.
As you should.
Just to check this out. And it lived up to the hype, man.
I saw.
It was the max. It was like the max that we all remember.
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, so there was like a side room that was Mr. Belding's office.
Yeah.
There was the max. There was the lockers in another part. Coolest thing ever. I mean, the food was, it was whatever. It was a burger and fries.
Right. It was just all
and I had
max.
a beer, and but the experience was awesome, man. Yeah, it was great. It was great. I was thinking of you the whole time.
Wow. I wonder if you'll cry.
Yes.
Crying. If that comes to Hawaii, oh gosh. You remember
it's over.
Right?
It's over.
You don't say about it though. Did you watch this show before?
I've heard of it.
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Wait, we're not booing that it's on Netflix.
Definitely booing me.
With applause.
It's on Netflix. Binge watch. It lives. You can still watch it today.
I was gonna say, is it relevant today?
Because I still do.
Okay.
I still watch it. In fact, and I'm gonna have my daughter start watching it.
Damn right.
Yeah. I
'Cause it's
made
just-
that decision.
Right. It's just it's simple television. You don't have to think.
It's great.
There's more.
And it's so many facets. I mean, Kelly Kapowski was the first love of my life.
That's it. Yeah.
Right.
Five Might Girl of the 90s.
Malibu Sands made me want to get a job. And have a boss like Mr. Carosi, and it's
Well, the Lion King,
right?
Figure,
Exactly. So yeah.
Great cast, yeah.
Great show. Great show.
Great show.
Golden Girls, Saved by the Bell, and then Modern Family. That's
right.
my
Modern
three.
Family,
Those are
right.
my 3 TV shows all time.
Wow.
So hopefully by the end of a couple of months, I will know what those references were.
You
These
just better figure it out.
Malibu
Yes.
Sands, all
Yes.
these
Yes.
things.
I wish you the best of luck. Work hard at it.
There you
Don't
go.
give up. right? If you want to do something, you do it now. I heard a wise man once told me. So you need to get on this Saved by the Bell train.
There we go.
I will.
Yeah.
Wow. There's no hope and dope. There you go. So with that reference.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah. I'm the drug-free class of 2000. I remember.
No dose for you, right?
Yeah,
Jesse, okay.
that was pounded.
All right. Well, besides that already is monumental to begin with. I gave you a little assignment before you got on.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to go into your Mount. You can even have this be your personal one. Your
Okay.
Mount Rushmore of Hawaii sports stories for 2018.
28. So are we going 4, 3, 2, 1? Are we going the best first? Like how you want this done?
You could go 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that'll be good. Build intrigue to this whole thing.
Okay, so number 4, I have to say University of Hawaii football.
Yes.
I mean, you go from 3-9 a season ago, right?
Yeah.
Nick Rolovich has his first year 2 years ago. It leads them to the Hawaii Bowl. Everyone's excited.
Yeah.
You start off pretty strong. It looks like, hey, this team could be something, and then they just fall apart.
Yeah.
You have coaches leaving. You have players departing. People don't have high expectations for the 2018 season, and then bam, they start 6-1. You
Yeah.
got the quarterback competition with Chevin Cordero,
Yeah.
Cole McDonough getting everyone excited. John Ursua has unbelievable season. Rolo got extended today to 2022.
Yes.
So definitely, University of Hawaii football deserves to be on there, and I put them at number 4.
No, that was a great one because as far as if you remember the last time you were on, we asked you to give somewhat of a kind of a prediction of how, and you really told us honestly, I can't because
Yeah.
there's too many intangibles there.
There were 40 new players on the roster this season, and that's what I told you was, how am I supposed to say how
Yeah.
this team's going to do it? I haven't seen them even practice together
Right.
yet. We got 40 new players.
Exactly.
And so they definitely exceeded expectations, and I think they're on the right path now. I mean, the schedule gets much tougher next season, but the players are in place. You had a lot of players that were young and played significant roles this past season.
Yeah.
Kind of get thrown into the fire. I mean, I think you move down a couple of years down the road, and I think University of Hawaii is going to be in a good place.
Right. Who's really got in the schedule coming up 2019?
Boy, you got 3 Pac-12 teams to open the
Oh.
year. They play Arizona
Yeah.
first at Aloha Stadium, then they play Oregon State, and then
Yeah.
Washington.
Yeah.
So those are the first 3 games of the year. So it's gonna be rough in the beginning, but hey, that's gonna set them up for the rest of the year.
Right.
And
Exactly.
And I think there's possibilities. I mean, Oregon State is struggling right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there are teams on the schedule that if Hawaii has a good offseason, that surprises.
Right. That was going to probably be the one that would be the surprise.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. Great.
Washington's gonna be tough.
Yeah. What you got for number 3?
All right, number 3, along those lines, I'm just gonna say the Hawaii quarterback factory would be number 3. And so the aforementioned Chevin Cordero out of St. Louis, right? He wins the Offensive Player of the Year award. He signs with UH. Everyone's excited. And as a true freshman, leads and bows to 2 wins in dramatic fashion. So you got that right there. Then you got to remember that on the very first day of 2018, Mackenzie Milton leading UCF to a win over Auburn to claim a national championship. Obviously, his season ended in a pretty scary way, in a just horrific knee injury. But then you just look at the season he had leading up to that, right? You had Jordan Ta'amu at Ole Miss and what he did this season. Then of course Tua Tagovailoa, Marcus Mariota, with Tennessee, and Tua. I mean, runner-up for the Heisman Trophy, 48 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Leads his team to a national championship game appearance, and obviously things didn't go as planned for him and his team last night against Clemson, but still, unbelievable season. So all the quarterbacks that representing Hawaii right now in 2018 was amazing, and then you even look at the young ones coming up, Dylan Gabriel Mililani and Jaden Delores St. Louis. I mean, it just keeps going.
What is so different of 2018 and the year before that created this? What do you think changed? Where you're getting these guys recruited more so now?
Well, I think it's the aligning of the stars. I mean, you got to look at the quarterback coaches in Hawaii. Vinny Passes, obviously, at the top of that, the St. Louis quarterbacks coach, who all of these guys that we talk about go through Vinny's system as a youngster. And so I think that has a big part in it. But I think the biggest thing is seeing is believing, right? Growing up, if you're in the 80s and the 90s, you look at who's made it, who's playing college football, who's in the NFL. who's in the Pro Bowl from Hawaii? They're all linemen.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of what was believed as far as like, okay, if I'm not 6'5" and 300 pounds,
Right.
you know, I'm not going to make it.
Right.
Or I gotta play line if I'm a certain size. And I think as the time has gone on, and you had the Darnell Arsenals and the Jason
Right.
Gessers and
Right.
the Timmy Changs, and they start leading up, and right, you got to start somewhere, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and better. And then Marcus comes around.
Yeah.
Marcus wins the Heisman Trophy, and
Yeah.
I think everybody younger than Marcus can now look at it and say, okay, it's possible. If he can do it,
Oh,
this
yeah.
guy looks like me, talks like me, acts like me.
Exactly.
He grew up.
He's gonna lead the way for the next
He
20
grew up
years.
going to rainbows, and just like
Right.
I did, he body surfs at Sandy's. I
Right.
can do this too, and I think that's a game changer. That changes everything, and that goes for every walk of life. I mean, imagine the talent that's going to come out of Hawaii because Bruno Mars exists.
Yeah.
Because Bruno was able to accomplish what
Opening
he
the doors.
did,
Yeah.
it just makes things possible. It makes
Yeah.
the kids in Hawaii look at it and be like, okay, if I work hard and I put everything I have into something, it is, it might not happen, but at least I know it is possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you look at the
No, that's a
quarterback,
good
that's what
point.
it is.
I think that you bring up a great point of it was Mariota that I think
Yeah,
that turned
yeah.
the corner for this entire thing.
Yeah, for sure.
He's game changing of what he accomplished, and that's clearly going to lead the way.
Yeah, and I was in New York for his Heisman Trophy,
Yeah.
back in 2014, and I remember his speech being about, hey, Hawaii kids, it was really of the Polynesian community,
Yeah.
of just don't let this be the beginning. There's a lot more to come, and then what's funny about that is while I was in New York covering Marcus's Heisman acceptance, the guy I was working with at the time, Sam Spangler,
Yeah.
his story the next day was on Tua Tagovailoa,
Wow.
who was a sophomore at St. Louis,
Right.
and we dubbed him Who's Next, right? And we did this story, and it was really the first feature story on Tua, and I remember we got blasted by people
Yes, you mentioned that last time. Yeah.
about, why are you doing a
Yeah.
story on this kid, and
Yeah.
how is he going to live up to these expectations, and and Sam and I were just like, this kid's special, man, just watch.
Yeah.
And then look, right there, just a few years later,
Right.
he's runner-up in Heisman.
Right.
Yeah.
Even to this day, you get all these guys still like back when you were on the show last time. All these
Oh
trolls.
yeah, there's haters.
Non-stop every day.
It's all, I mean, it's all
Sending you
good.
rubbish, right? Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
I've yet to have anyone on social media that actually goes by their name or has a picture of them
Oh, yeah,
say
God
anything
forbid.
negative to me ever.
Yeah.
It's always like, a logo and like a cartoon picture and a nickname, but
Wonderful, yeah.
it's all good. It's
So-
all good. Keeps
Well,
me
we-
entertained.
Of course. So what we got? So we're at the number 2.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we're-
number 2 would be mixed martial arts in Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, number
of
2.
course.
Champ
Lots of-
camp here in Hawaii. I
Yeah.
mean, just along those lines, like the quarterbacks. Max Holloway, UFC featherweight champ. Well, let me back up. There are 4 major mixed martial arts promotions, right?
Yeah.
Especially in regards to the United States. UFC, Bellator, One Championship, Professional Fighters League. You got Max Holloway, UFC featherweight champ. You got Alimale McFarland, Bellator flyweight champ. You got Angela Lee, strawweight or atomweight
Right.
champ in one, and then Ray Brother Cooper, who made it to the finals of the PFL welterweight tournament. So I mean, Hawaii mixed martial arts has always been big and has always been on this meteoric rise that's just never ending. And whenever you think, oh, this is it, oh, BJ Penn, you'll never get better than that. I mean, it just keeps going.
Yeah.
And so I'd say the year 2018 for MMA in Hawaii was big, and I think headlined by Max, having the year that he did where the Frankie Edgar fight falls through, then the Brian Ortega fight falls through in a scary situation, or
Right.
before that it was the Khabib fight in
Right.
Brooklyn, and that didn't happen. So you look at just obstacle after obstacle for Max, and then finally he gets his fight with Ortega to close out 2018, and everyone's thinking like, okay, this is the guy that finally takes the strap away from Max, and he puts together one of the greatest championship performances of all time. I mean, it's up there with Holly Holm, Ronda Rousey as far as game plans, execution, just dominance. And then you go to Alimale McFarland, bringing Bellator to Hawaii. Just a special moment, the fact that the event took place,
Yeah.
but then for it to happen the way it did, I mean, the walkout, the way she won that fight, and just the drama that was brought back to the Neil Blaisdell Center really 10 years after its heyday of Icon Sport,
been a while.
Rock, and Strikeforce, Elite XC and all that,
Right.
was really special. Yeah.
I gotta ask you this now then. With all of this leading up, we talked about this last time. UFC to Hawaii, Aloha Stadium. Do you see this being a thing in 2019?
I don't. You know, and like we talked about last time, you know, I have just a hard time believing that if it didn't happen yet, then I don't know what's going to make it happen.
Right.
And there's almost that, you know, I think that Max's success, how quickly it happened, hurt UFC Hawaii, because they couldn't use Max as the up-and-comer guy, you know, as far, and that's on them, because, you know, this was coming from a mile away as far as Max's success, and they could have done this back when he was fighting Charles Oliveira and, you know, all these other guys, but they didn't. But then he became champ, and it's too difficult at that point because it has to be a pay-per-view. You know, you're not gonna have a UFC fight night over here. That's just not gonna happen. So it needs to be a pay-per-view, and then all of Hawaii's indoor venues are too small for pay-per-view. So therefore, you need Aloha Stadium. But UFC's not gonna come do an outdoor event without getting paid, without being assured of all this money that they're gonna lose. I mean, because UFC is gonna have to spend a lot of money to make a lot of money. And at this point of the UFC, they don't need Hawaii. Hawaii's not a market that they're trying to grab, right? You know, those outdoor venue events that you see them do in the past, they're trying to get new markets. They're trying to get Australia. They're trying to get Abu Dhabi. They're trying to, you know, even Western Australia, not necessarily an outdoor event, but just going to those lengths. They were trying to get new markets. But Hawaii, I mean, they already know that pay-per-view numbers in Hawaii are through the roof. I mean, I did that interview with Dana White a couple of years ago, and he said Hawaii is one of their top markets, right? As far as them, Hawaii people watching the shows that are on TV and then ordering pay-per-views. So,
Sad,
yeah, I mean, if it ever, no, but you know,
I cry.
I could be wrong, right? I've been wrong before, but I just don't see it. And I actually think that Bellator coming and it being so successful, a lot of people thought that, like, oh, UFC's going to see that and be like, oh, okay, I actually think it does the opposite. I think UFC does, like, all right, cool, you can have Bellator, you know, and so, but we'll see. I mean, I think at this point, when you look at who is Max going to fight next, and I think the names that come up are Khabib, Conor, right, Ferguson, and you look at those three guys, would those guys come and fight here and, you know, on Max's turf to fight him? Because at this point, Max is below them as far as revenue goes and as far as being the guy. So I feel like, you know, if an outdoor event's going to happen, remember Conor McGregor's been begging for an Ireland stadium, you know. So let's say Max and Conor is the fight that happens, right? You're going to make Conor come to Hawaii and fight in the stadium when you weren't letting him fight, you know. So I just find it hard to believe, but I hope I'm wrong. Like I said, I'm wrong all the time. so I hope this is one of those.
Well, you lay it out, I mean, as truthfully as you can. I mean, it's all a numbers thing, it's all a demand thing. And
and it got close, you know. I mean, they had that August event was supposed to be in Hawaii. That was the proposal. Everything, the HTA, everyone was on board. I mean, you're going and really there's no, you can't really blame one side or the other. I mean, UFC needs to ask them for $6 million because that's, you know, the NFL was going to be asking for that if the NFL was holding their Pro Bowl here still yet. So why wouldn't you? I mean, the UFC would be taking a step back, and they shouldn't. And then if you're the HTA, you're not going to pay them $6 million because, you know, this is your first venture here. I'm going to give you $6 million. Forget that. So I mean, really, I think that it's just the stars aren't aligned on that. You know.
Right. So that's number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. What we got for number 1?
Number 1, see, and this is one that I think a lot of people forget because it's a niche thing that isn't in our lives year round, but the Honolulu Little Leaguers. That winning the Little League World Series. That's got to be number 1. And really, I mean, just when you look back at what that did for everybody, you know, I mean, moms, dads, uncles, aunties, grandmas, cousins, everybody was so proud of this team that, and remember, it's not the first time. I mean, you know, 05 Ewa Beach, 08 Waipio, and then now this team. When you look at what was going on at that time too with the hurricane scare.
Right.
And these are little kids, I mean, 10, 11,
That's
12
right.
years old, who are in front of cameras telling
Yeah,
people
scare
like,
them, yeah.
right? They were telling the people back home, like, don't worry guys, keep your, and these are little kids.
Yeah.
These are little kids,
Yeah.
and so it was just a very special time. And like I said, I think it's easy for people to kind of forget it. But that is definitely, when you really look at what moved the meter, what brought people joy and happiness and excitement, that was one. And on New Year's Eve, right? That Instagram best 9,
Yeah.
right? So I separate my work Instagram, my personal Instagram.
Yes.
So I went on my work one, and I was just like, let's do that best 9. It was like 7 of my posts were those literally, whether it was them winning the U.S., winning the world, coming back home, and so definitely, I mean that really moved the meter. People really loved it, and
they won.
they deserve it. They were
They
world
won.
champs.
And then they won it, like dominating fashion.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
A lot of those games, and then there was the one kid with the hammer.
It was Sean Yamaguchi.
Oh, what's he doing?
Yeah.
What's he up to now?
I don't know.
That was like, I mean, how was that for like one of the biggest confidence to get this kid, local kid, just coming out and doing that commercial, and that set the whole thing.
It really did.
Yeah.
And he's a student at St. Louis, so I'm sure you'll be seeing him in a few years, and Crusaders will be going after a state title. But Kamehameha, I think, has 4 of those kids. So the ILH is going to be a stranglehold for who wins the state title in about 3 years. Yeah.
Well, how's Pac-5 doing? Private school.
I couldn't tell you. Although my son goes Hawaii Baptist, so I guess in a few years I'll be very interested in Pac-5 athletics. Yeah.
Well, Garrett Gabriel for the win.
Yeah.
So that's well. Looking back at that, let's look forward at things. Let's go into 2019. Where do you foresee things as far as what do you see? We talked about Max Holloway. What's the next thing for him? What's coming up next? You foresee?
I imagine he'll probably fight in April or May. That's what we'll be looking at. There's. I would anticipate he's fighting at 155.
Okay.
But then who would it be, right? Because Conor and Khabib, I don't know how soon they're going to be fighting, because they're both still under the investigation of the whole incident after their fight, and there's going to be a suspension there and all that. So then you have to start wondering, is Khabib going to get stripped of his title at some point if the Nevada State Athletic Commission puts him out for too long? So then, so let's just say that happens. You take Khabib and Conor out of the picture. That leaves Ferguson, maybe for the title, right? There's interesting fights where, super fight wise that you can throw guys in there, but I imagine this is the fight I want to see: Dustin Poirier for Max, and it's because when you take those top guys out, Poirier's next in line behind Ferguson. And if you remember, Max made his UFC debut at the age of 20 against Dustin Poirier and lost. And so Max's only losses are to Poirier, Conor McGregor, and Dennis Bermudez, who Bermudez will never get to fight Max again unless it happens many years from now. But Bermudez is older, so I don't think that's going to happen. So I think that creates something for the UFC where Max is now chasing those losses. Right? Because Max is, I think I talked about this on the last time I was on, was that Max is only one of 2 fighters in UFC history to start their careers 3-3 in the UFC. So have 3 losses in your first 6 and then go on to become champion. The other one was Matt Serra, who that was just a total upset win over George St. Pierre. So, I mean, what Max is doing is something that's never been done before in UFC history, and that's start your career that way, that young, and you almost learn on the fly. You're learning under fire. You're getting these losses, and then you find it, and then become one of the greatest of all time. And so I think that's like a promo right there, right? Max trying to chase these losses.
They're wanting to add drama to the UFC to begin with, so why not?
And if he beats Poirier at 155, then who's the next fight? Conor McGregor.
Exactly.
Right there. And it lines it up perfect.
Oh, that's excellent. Julie, what do you think of any sports stories or any sports questions or anything that you want to discuss?
I have a question for you. Obviously you've been in the industry for a while. I know you kind of touched on it a little bit throughout this whole thing. What does sports mean to Hawaii and the representation? Because, I mean, 50th state, kind of small, people tend to forget about us besides being a vacation place. So what does sports mean for us?
Yeah, I mean, I think goes back to what we were talking about as far as people in Hawaii are so prideful, right? And a lot of it has to do with being so far away, being isolated, on an island, and always trying to prove something, always trying to prove that, well, we're just as good as those guys, we're just as good as the East Coast and the West Coast and all that, and I think sports it gives you that avenue to more so than anything else, right? I mean, you can't, whatever other facets have it, right? Where you're talking about like, oh, we're just as good as everybody else. Sports allows you to actually compete and actually prove it and actually show people what white people can do. And so I think that has a big part in it, that people are just very prideful. And so whether you're doing it here locally and you're doing it for your community, there's just a pride here that is unmatched. And everywhere I go in all my travels of work, that is what the people who are covering sports in those markets tell me in return. That there's nobody like Hawaii. There's no fans like Hawaii. The athletes aren't like anybody else. The support systems, everything.
The support system is
Hawaii is just a very special place, and I think sports it's just a perfect marriage there.
Right. Every time we see anybody that is local, we'll always gravitate and we'll just find them out, no matter what, how obscure or what.
Exactly, and it's not just sports, right? I mean, if you're watching TV and you're watching like a random television show and you find it, and this one character is just whatever to you, and then you find out that guy grew up in Hawaii or whatever. Now
he's local.
His favorite TV show now. Favorite.
Exactly. And we all watch it. Right. Exactly.
Exactly.
We've been doing that forever. That's not gonna die.
I was talking to Sean earlier about Neil Everett at ESPN, right? When he was the sports director at KGMB, nobody liked Neil. He didn't really fit in here, but then he goes to ESPN, and now he's on this big stage, and he says, "How's it?" and he throws shotguns, and everyone's like, "Neil, this guy, I love him." Oh man,
So that's funny you say that about Neil, because I remember distinctly when he was on KGMB, and he had this style unlike any Kekala, any of those guys. They all had that little localness to him, and it's like he was already ready to go for Sports Center. Like he was all ready to
I mean, his style was more sarcastic.
So sarcastic, it was witty, sarcastic, but it just didn't sound. It was just this holly guy.
Just didn't fit.
Didn't fit, right?
But the funny
you
thing,
knew he was ready to go.
But the funny thing, and this is just how it works sometimes, is that Neil could have came back at some point and done the exact same thing he did earlier, and people would be like, "Oh, bro, this guy."
Right.
Where were you guys at? Oh, he's so sarcastic. I love it, man.
This is HBO basketball.
Yeah.
And he did the same thing on the basketball team.
Yeah,
And I would listen to him because he would always crack these jokes, and it seemed like he was drinking on the air.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Probably
He might be doing it right now, especially.
Yeah.
It's what a talent, I tell you.
And that guy, I owe everything in my adult life, really, he set me on this path. At 15 years old, I interned for him and changed my life, and
Yeah, he was the man.
He was the GOAT.
Man here, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
We have to get Neil on the show.
Yeah. Hey, well, I will do my best.
If he ever comes back here.
Although I will tell you, the highbrow room fits Neil Everett.
Exactly.
This is his spot, I guarantee.
He's a whiskey guy, right?
Yeah.
So yes, just destroying the
planting seed. Yeah. Well, let's hope that your show gets it that far after your Tinder date.
Right.
You're not around.
I have a feeling that this is my second and last appearance on this show.
Keep kind of sure laughing at us. Well, with other things to go forth for 2019, okay, I'm just going to throw this one out to you. I happen to be a Tennessee Titans fan.
Yes, I'm well aware.
And there's a quarterback that plays for that said team. Kind of an off and on kind of season for this gentleman.
Yeah.
And one more year left on his contract, his rookie contract.
Yeah.
Where do you foresee Marcus Mariota in 2019?
I wish I had a really good answer for you. I have no idea. And really it's twofold because, let's face it, this is your team, but that franchise is an absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah.
And so, as far as coordinators going in and out, and coaches, and
Norm Chow.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Norm.
Ultras.
Yeah.
So it's twofold. Really, if you're Marcus Mariota, do you want to have Tennessee be your spot for the next 5 years? Because face it, the next contract he signs will be for 5 years.
Right.
And so they can't protect him. They really never have. They haven't really, you know, you could say like they drafted Corey Davis high, but really that's not going and getting an elite receiver. That's drafting a guy from Western Michigan hoping that thing, you know what I mean? There's a big difference, right? The most established receiver that they gave Marcus as a free agent in his time would be Eric Decker.
Which is insane.
Exactly. So
Delaney Walker. I mean,
well, that's the thing. I mean, and I'm sure you agree too. Delaney Walker, if he's healthy this season, a whole different year.
That's the whole situation, right?
Because the biggest issue they had was protection, and he
doesn't throw far anyway. He's going to throw.
Exactly.
Well, the thing with him, and what could be going through his mind is he got drafted by, well, he wasn't drafted, but Ken Wisenhunt was his first coach.
Yeah.
He gets fired.
Yeah.
He's got a just carousel of these guys coming in.
Yeah.
Matt LaFleur's gone. Matt LaFleur goes to the Packers.
Yeah.
He loses another offensive coordinator. So they got to figure out who they're going to get.
And this will be Marcus's fourth offense in 5 years.
Now, what's the mindset of a guy who has nerve damage in his throwing arm, who's got to learn a new offense again?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, okay, we got some stability with Vrabel. I don't think Vrabel's going to go anywhere. I think they're going to.
Yeah.
Because the GM's a
Point
Patriots
for
guy.
the defense, and the defense played
Right, and the
well
defense
for
was,
most of the season.
right.
Yeah.
They finally established the running game at the end. They finally utilized what to run first, throw later.
Yeah.
But now you got another offensive coordinator guy. What goes into the mindset? If he leaves the Titans, he's going to learn a new system again.
Yeah.
So either way he goes, he's kind of like in a purgatory of what he's going to do.
Yeah.
So,
but if he leaves the Titans, you're choosing the offense that you're about to learn.
right.
Right. Staying in Tennessee, it will be whatever this offensive coordinator. Then, based on track record, then the offensive coordinator after that, and then the offensive coordinator after that, right? Because
It's very unfortunate. It's
because
just,
even, I mean, look at LaFleur. I mean, his offense was that mind-blowing stuff, but it got him a head coaching job. So, yeah, man, I don't know. I really don't know what lies ahead. I mean, I imagine he will be a Titan next year.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen.
They will probably offer him the extension.
And they should. If you're Tennessee,
you have to.
you have to.
Right.
Because
What's left?
and really, are you going to get a free agent that's better than Marcus? You're not.
No.
You know, and so your best hope is that okay, we let Marcus go, struggle, become a number, you know, get a number 2 pick again, and then maybe try it again. But if
They're done that.
and then why would you do that?
Tired of draft parties.
Yeah.
Tired of
Exactly.
Sean knows. It's just it's a weird dilemma. It's just very unfortunate that the injuries, just learning new things all the time, is just
it's
bizarre.
really like, we're talking about the stars aligned is the opposite of that. Whatever the opposite of stars aligned, that stars scattered like amongst like a Big Dipper or something, right? That's what that is, right?
wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just too bad he makes like crap commercials, but that's but they'll continue wherever he goes to. But just and then I did get to touch on this last time, and this is kind of a big thing involving the two of us.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Should I let my wife know about this? Or?
Potentially.
Okay.
But you're a baseball fan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know where this is going.
You just happen to be a fan of the Los Angeles Angels.
Of Anaheim.
Turned to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle with Disneyland.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta discuss this now.
And we didn't know this until after
I know.
I left.
I texted you right after.
And in fact, I brought you a gift, or I should rephrase that. I intended to bring you a gift and did not. So it's like that Tinder date where like you leave something, you know, so
exactly.
we have to see each other again. Sorry, right? So
weird feeling.
we'll hook up again because my son's baseball team
Yes.
that I coach.
Yes.
I named them the Oahu Angels of Aiea.
Yes.
And we had
I
6
saw that.
logos and 6
Yes.
booster shirts.
I messaged you saying, can I have that shirt?
And I got you a shirt.
Wow.
So, unfortunately, he no longer plays for that team. I dropped him. No, I'm just kidding. He moved up division, and so I just wanted to coach. I coached my daughter when she was young. What's it called? T-ball to Pee-wee. Just because I'm super patient. I know how difficult it is coaching little kids like that, and so I wanted to make sure that their first coach was someone that could at least be patient with them and not like the coaches I had, you know. And so, so now that my son's old enough, so I don't coach him anymore, and so now he's off doing his own thing, and so the Oahu Angels of Aiea. So not only is it a cool shirt, but it is now going to be what is it, nostalgic or
Right.
because.
And you had the old the Disneyland angel. Was it the Disney animated
No,
angels
so
one?
we,
Which logo you
every
had?
so I coached this team for 4 seasons, and
Yeah.
every season we did the different angel look. So we had
We need a shirt
the
for
lowercase angels. We did the
That's a
Disneyland
nice one.
angels. We did the
Just a straight.
current angels, but then the current angels with like a navy blue look on it too. So there you go.
Whatever backstock you got.
Yep, I got you.
So what do you think? What do you think of the Angels? Get rid of Trout? Keep them? What are we doing?
You gotta keep Trout. I mean, even if
Yeah.
we're not winning baseball games, he brings people to the ballpark.
He's only been to the playoffs 1 year and
Yeah,
he's swept.
yeah, exactly.
He's like a 20,000 time MVP.
Yeah.
Don't give this guy a team.
No, you can't let him go. You gotta keep him forever, even if you never win the World Series, even if you only make the playoffs X amount of times over the years. I mean, it's kind of like Barry Bonds with the Giants.
Yeah.
Like, you can't let that go. You gotta, because I mean, you're in Anaheim. People are already coming there for Disneyland
Right.
and all that, right? It's already a vacation spot, and so Mike Trout would just continue to bring people to the stands. And so, from a business standpoint,
Oh yeah, from business
it
clearly.
doesn't even matter if they're winning ball games. Mike Trout
Right.
is your cash cow. You can't let
Right.
go.
And then
You need to be afraid of him getting tired of not making the playoffs, and wanting to go somewhere.
so that was gonna be my next
Yeah.
question. Will he would want to leave then?
I don't know, man. I mean, his personality shows that
Super
like
nice guy.
that he's an angel through and through, and that he loves the community and all this. But you never know. And if that day ever comes that he does want to go play for a contender, I mean, you just gotta let him do it. I mean, you gotta be happy
yeah.
for him. You can't.
I'm ready to
You're an
let him do
Angels
it now.
fan. You can't be a
Right.
hater and like
Right.
just like man. Like
Right.
he gave him great years. It's like the whole LeBron Cleveland thing.
Right, right.
Like, come on, dude. Like he
That's-
did what he had to do.
He did what he had to do.
Yeah.
It was just he couldn't build a team around.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
Shohei Ohtani, what do you think is gonna happen to him? He's gonna pitch again?
I think so because he wants to.
Yep.
But if I'm the Angels,
No.
probably don't.
No.
Probably don't want him pitching
Forget
because again, too. I mean, Trout and Ohtani.
They lucked out with getting him.
I don't know if if there's another team in the major leagues that has visitors come to watch just players, not the team,
Yep.
than those two.
Yep.
I mean, you have a lot of people traveling to New York because they want to check out Yankee Stadium, or they go to Fenway because they say, I always want to check out this ballpark and it's so historic and all this stuff. People go to Angels games just to see those two players. And that's big. I mean, especially for Major League Baseball, when you have 162 games, you can't expect to sell them all out.
Right.
So what's going to get people to come put their butts in seats, and that's what that is.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they win more than 81 games. That's almost.
Yeah,
This is what we're doing.
let's hope they're as good as the Oahu Angels of Hawaii. That team is legendary.
Here you go. Come to whenever you're free, man. Let's get the shirts ready. All the designs. I remember seeing the old the Disney one, but I didn't see the old the lowercase.
Yeah, man. We had them all, and I wish the Angels would do something because just red and white is just a little boring.
Yeah.
And like they need to. I actually like the Disneyland logo. Like that was awesome.
That one grew on me.
Every now and then, just gotta wear it.
The lowercase was always.
I'm a uniform junkie too. Like that is.
Okay.
I look like I can talk about uniforms for days.
Rare shit.
I can't dress myself.
Yeah.
I'm a horrible dresser, but I
You had a
tell.
shirt tonight.
You know what's funny about this one?
Yeah.
Right? So I tried it, I bought it at the store, I tried it on, right? And it ends appropriately at your waist. But then the back, it's like a tail. It like,
Oh, so the thing that flanks down on
maybe
the
it's
flapper?
like long. Is that a thing? Is that like this like new fad or?
Well, what's the brand of shirt? Where'd you go?
It's like Quicksilver or something. I don't know.
Maybe that's the millennial surfers. That's what
It was kind of weird. Like I
I've never heard of
never.
this.
Yeah. There's like a flap. Like I feel like that should just be for tuxedos. I feel.
Jillian, you know about the flap? Is that what the kids doing? They're wearing flaps on the back of
I guess so.
dress shirts?
Yeah, nice.
Go figure. Go figure. But I tell you what, we're gonna get regular shirts. We're gonna get those angel shirts.
Yes.
I can't wait to get any of those. Well, Jillian, any final question? Any comments to give Mr. DeMello here?
And that was my favorite
Well,
one.
well,
That was
I feel like
it.
Well,
It was
yeah,
great.
well, all right, well, let's get out of here. But first of all, thank you very much for coming out yet
Thank you so
again,
much.
brother. I tell you, always good times, and always whenever you want to talk about any kind of topical anything, just come on down.
You just give me the call, man.
And just
I'll be here.
don't forget the shirt.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.